My name is Roderick Peoples with the Gulf Coast Workforce Board, Industry Principal Liaison. And today I have a special treat for you guys in reference to the curriculum webinar series. We're here with two people who have done great work across this entire region, and they work really hard at what they do, and they have so many connections and so many years of experience between them two. I'm just ecstatic about this opportunity. So today I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So Melissa, if you don't mind, introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me today and the opportunity. My name is Melissa Steinmetz, and I'm the Principal Industry Liaison for Healthcare and Life Sciences. And I just hit my 2-year anniversary last week.
That's awesome. Good job. 2 years in. Oh man, I thought you had about 20. So thank you. Thank you. All right. And also we have Mr. Lacey. Introduce yourself, sir.
Good morning, Roderick. And talk about giants of industry right here. This big guy in the education field. I'm glad to be here, Roderick. But I'm Lacey Wolf. I'm the Principal Industry Liaison for Construction and Manufacturing and Building here for the Workforce Board. And so glad to be here with you.
All right, awesome. I'm glad to have you guys here. And today we're going to talk about specific training programs available for students. And we're going to focus on key industries that you guys are professionals at, which is healthcare and manufacturing and construction. So I'm looking forward to an awesome conversation. And like I said, again, I'm so ecstatic to have you guys here. Um, the first question I just got to ask you guys, what are some common certifications or credentials offered in the healthcare field?
Well, there's a variety of certifications on both the clinical and non-clinical side. So if we're going to look at the clinical side, some of the beginner certifications would be certified nurse assistant, medical assistant. If you're going to go emergency medical technician, licensed practical nurse. If you want to get more advanced, you can get into certified pharmacy tech or the radiology tech or the surgical tech. On the non-clinical side, we have some of the billing and coding specialists and the health information specialists, and we can go on from there. There's a variety. Healthcare has a lot to offer.
Yes, and being that we have the world largest medical center here in Houston, all these things align to our high skills, high growth jobs. So thank you, Melissa. Also, same question for you, Lacey. What are some common certifications or credentials offered in this industry training programs?
Well, Roderick, one of the most important, and you're going to hear it across any industry. It doesn't matter if it's healthcare, if it's construction, even if it's just in an office building. But the one that everybody needs is your OSHA safety training, at least a minimum of an OSHA 10, if not an OSHA 30, beyond, because that's the most critical. They want you to be able to go to work and come back not only alive and not sick, but even healthy, just to make sure that everything is in place for you. So that's a certification. And it's an easy one that everybody can get. And that's what we should all be focusing on, getting that OSHA certification before we even get into the workplace. And then of course, then you want to layer things depending on what you want to go into. If you're into manufacturing, you have the CNC, the machining. There's all type of welding certifications. People think that they can just go to a welding school and then they're going to be a welder automatically. And it's not. I mean, there's so many different things for welding, the AWS and just the things that you put together and depending on which trade you want to go into. So there's a ton of stuff that you can pile on to each other. Those are two that are very applicable and important to the industries.
Well, thank you, Lacey. Man, that was a powerful answer right there you both gave. But I love the fact that OSHA certification, that's occupational safety hazards. Is that right?
Correct.
Correct. Oh man, I remember those things going around years ago when I was in school, and I remember a lot of students stirred away from it. But here in Houston, for example, we're growing by leaps and bounds every day. We're building new communities, so I can see the impact of those certifications that you just spoke of. So I really appreciate that. The next question I have: how long does it typically take to complete an entry level training program in this industry, healthcare?
So it really depends on which of the certifications you're going after. So maybe a certified nursing assistant will be about 4 to 12 weeks.
Mhm.
Maybe the EMT tech will be about 3 to 6 months. But the medical assistant, which is one of the entry level on the more nursing side, when you get
Mhm.
past the CNA, that's going to be about 6 months to a year. When you get to the more advanced certifications like the X-ray techs and the surge techs and the LVNs, that's going to be about a year or two when you start to get more heavy duty, but those also are more advanced programs.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you, Melissa. I really appreciate that. That gives me a direction and reference we can send the kids on if they had a short window or a long-term window. So I really appreciate that. Lacey, same question for you. How long does it typically take to complete an entry-level training program in your
It's
fields?
a lot of the same, Roderick. You pick when you pick which industry you want to go into, they're going to have specific time frames that most of them based on the 6 to 12 month, and that's entry level. That's kind of getting you going, getting you started, and then once you get that certificate and you get into the job that you really are seeking, then usually they'll have advanced programs more like a technical program to get you the more detailed work to where you're at.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I love it, guys. We're rolling. So, what is the difference? This is for both of you guys. What is the difference between an apprenticeship and a technical school program in reference to healthcare?
So the apprenticeship programs are usually put in place by some of the larger healthcare organizations, and they might be put in place with training provider as well, and they're a course of study. But whereas like the training providers are usually just a course of study with a clinical aspect to it. Whereas like the apprenticeship programs are more of a hands-on from the beginning, and you're also getting paid while you're earning and learning, so to speak. And I
Okay.
and there's been some barriers in the past with the healthcare industry in that many of the clinical aspects and the regulatory have had barriers regarding you being able to earn while you're doing your clinical rotations. But that's been
Mm.
changing at the legislative level over the years.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Thank you for that insight. And the same for you, Lacey. What is
Yes.
the difference between an apprenticeship and a technical school in your manufacturing industry?
Right. And technical, when you go to a technical school, it's like a continuation of either your high school or your college. You
Gotcha.
decided this is the course you're going to take. You want to take it. You're trained by a professor, some type of teacher, maybe an adjunct professor at the school to go over what you're looking still to go. You're at the opportunities you're looking to endure, and it's still more continuous schooling is what you're doing. The apprenticeship program, just like Melissa said, is the model of earn while you learn. So the apprenticeship program will have you come to maybe a couple times a week, distance between them, and in the meantime, you're probably on a job working and earning your living, whether it's being at the manufacturing or even on the construction side. Same thing.
Same thing.
Mhm.
Okay. So what are some hand-on skills students learn in a training program? What kind of hand-on skills do they have? Hands-on skills.
Oh,
Listen.
sure. I mean,
Sorry.
so for healthcare, it's very divided into like the patient care, clinical, and then into the daily activities like with charting and so forth. So like the basic patient care, which will be like vital signs, that's your blood pressure, temperature, and that's all linked, of course, to the charting, but then assisting patients with some of their daily
Mhm.
activities, and a lot of the very mundane stuff, but the clinical stuff will go back to like the drawing the blood and
Mm.
getting the stuff for the lab, wound care dressing, some of the basic diagnostic testing. On the emergency side, it's the CR, the life skills, using your emergency equipment. On the
Mm,
technical equipment use, it's sterilization, breaking down the exam rooms, restocking so everything's back to normal, charting and documenting the patient information.
okay, okay.
So it'll be used in the rest. And then also like, the very basics of like communication and professionalism, like customer service, which,
Which is a
is
big
used in every
part of it.
industry, right?
Yes. Oh, awesome, awesome. So, Lacey, what are some of the stackable credentials that you have in your particular industry around construction and manufacturing?
Everything, all the trades, a lot of the skills are have credentials that is based on, you start at an entry level. It's almost just like going through school.
Hmm.
You start at first grade and you are kindergarten, you move up through 12th grade and then on into college. And so they start you off slow. You might be at welding level one. You move up to advanced welding, then specified welding, certified. Then you could even move into now your more uh, supervisory type roles where you become an
Mm,
inspector or an operator.
okay.
Under manufacturing, same thing. You become an operator, and you can even be a programmer. All of it, one of the things that you need to learn about all this is your basic language is math, and it's always good to learn it and learn that basic math to
Uh,
apply to all these.
yes, and it's very transferable, those skills. So I
Absolutely.
really appreciate that. Um, what are some advantages and disadvantages of attending a short-term certificate program versus a 2-year program, Melissa?
So it really depends on what your career path is. And going back to like the stackable credentials,
Hmm.
is many of the healthcare organizations sometimes prefer you end up starting out with like say the CNAs or the assistant nursing degrees and then working your way up with the organization where they'll train you. And sometimes if you're not sure what you want to do, it's sometimes good to start off at one of the lower level programs and work your way. If you don't know you want to become a full-blown RN, or if you don't know if you want to become like a cardiovascular tech,
Hmm.
in the imaging, or if you're not sure if surgery tech is right for you, but there's different pathways. You could start at a CNA
Okay.
and work your way up to any of those pathways
Oh,
from
wow.
a CNA versus if you were to start at a 2-year program from the beginning and realize it wasn't right for you, then backtrack.
Gotcha, gotcha. So that's a key alignment strategy right there. I really like that. All right. Same thing. What role do you think community colleges and workforce training centers play in offering technical training, Lacey?
They partner a lot with the with different apprenticeship programs, with the contractors, and with the workforce itself. They reach out, they get our help with money from the state for
Hmm.
scholarships, for equipment. They partner with the contractors to see what type of curriculum that they need, and then they establish that curriculum and determine what is the best path for them. And not only does it relate to becoming certifications, but it also towards associate degrees and further. So
That's good.
you can compound on that.
I love that compounding factor. That's upskilling. So I love that
Absolutely,
aspect.
absolutely.
Aspect. So what are some soft skills? I know Melissa, you already touched on this, and just for a little bit, why is it so important to have those soft skills?
Uh, So a lot of it's customer service, having that bedside manner. I mean, I always make jokes that, having those first jobs where you learn how to interact with people, that transfers into the healthcare. We've all had those doctors where they don't know how to talk to you, or they're the worst people in the world, we joke, we don't want to interact with. But it's having that rapport, and not only with your patients, but your colleagues. Being able to communicate, being able to be timely and punctual, medications have to be given on time. and sometimes to the 10 and 5 minute intervals, being able to do what you do and say what you mean and be responsible. Medications and equipment in the hospital needs to be where it goes. You need to break stuff down in a room after a code and clean things up and reset it because there are new patients coming in, especially when, it's a busy day in the ER or in the hospital and there's turnover. People are relying on you.
Yes, they are relying on you. So, y'all, I think we about our time, and I just want to say thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you so much, Lacey,
Thank you,
for
Roderick.
this awesome information that are going to be utilized across our whole Gulf Coast region. So, again, I might be reaching out to y'all for more of your expertise. But in the meantime, in between y'all, I take my hat off to you and thank you so much and look forward to talking with y'all again.
Thank you,
y'all.
Roderick.
All right, thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Higher Gulf Coast Youth, HGCY, is a dynamic initiative dedicated to igniting passion, expanding opportunity, and guiding youth ages 14 to 24 toward meaningful, sustainable careers. Through engaging career exploration activities and hands-on work-based experiences, HGCY connects young people with industries that show strong regional growth and offer pathways to high-skill, high-demand jobs. Recognizing that career decisions can feel overwhelming, Higher Gulf Coast Youth provides practical tools such as career exploration tools, job search tips, and resume assistance to make the process more accessible and effective. These resources are designed to help youth identify industries and occupations that align with their strengths, interests, and long-term goals. As part of our ongoing commitment to empowering young people, we also share key insights on in-demand occupations and priority industries across the Gulf Coast region. Whether you're just beginning to explore your options or ready to launch your career journey, Higher Gulf Coast Youth is here to help you make informed choices and confidently move towards your future.